Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we have such an interesting topic about a case that might show us a different way of viewing things, and that is the Nordstrom's case, specifically focused on a cultural service. We're going to discuss it with another three colleagues who can show us how to think about this very interesting topic that involves us all and teach us more about what the human resources area is and more about this type of culture. To learn a little more about the subject, we have a small introduction about what is and what we have to say about Nordstrom's case. Mainly, we have that Nordstrom company prefers to keep things simple. It is a strategy that they usually use. But why? The answer might be very clear once we analyze it, and it's because this company focuses on customer service. One of the best strategies is to keep things this way. Nordstrom somehow managed to keep their employees happy and consequently, and their customers too, do it a better service. This is very interesting since it teaches the way in which a company can intelligently create strategies to improve. But this is just my point of view. Let's hear what else my colleagues had to comment on. Go ahead, I give you the word.
Hello, Regina, and hello to all who listen to us. Well, I can say that this is perhaps one of the characteristics that came from the beginning, because we see how the company has always been managed in this way. Besides that, it is impossible to forget something I read in some articles on this topic. He said that Nordstrom has always operated within the principles of exceptional service, which is why it has been ranked several times in awards. Its philosophy tells its employees to do everything possible to satisfy the customers.
Yeah, I think your theory could mean something else besides what you're telling us about. I mean, it's clear that the company Nordstrom has a need to always make customers feel satisfied and happy with the opportunities that they have been offered. And this happens to let the company to do things that no other story will accept.
What do you mean specifically? Because we can see that this theory is just trying to keep people loyal to the brand.
What I'm trying to explain is something similar to what you have just commented on. Nordstrom is not entirely correct, because mainly we see that they want loyal customers for this, and they put their profits at risk just to make them happy, which will not end well because the needs for the workers cannot be met. For example, we also see how Nordstrom made such a liberal return policy that it allowed customers to return items even though they have the risk. And even worse, if the products were used or not, they didn't care at all in the order to satisfy them. From that point of view, we don't know, obviously, the customers matter and what are the main thing to more business, and it is one of the most important factors. This is why Nordstrom should focus on also remaining a good company that takes care of its customers, but at the same time does not lead its company into a decline.
Perhaps this strategy used by the company was adopted when the company began to have more customers and know a little more about what they ask for. We see from other companies the very different way in which they were managed a few years ago. It's not just about money. Maybe the way the company is running is not the best, but for me, it's the way it's work. Plus, we know that having a business without satisfied customers is synonymous with failure.
Listening to everybody's point of view, it seems that both parties could be right in in the way the company is run at the moment. We all have different opinions based on what we have learned knowing a little more about business. But let's also not forget what we really want to discuss, the culture that this company has adopted.
True, the company has changed many things in order to keep the customer happy. I read in an article how Nordstrom company believed that customers would always talk about the service they received, whether it was good or bad. So they start making shopping a pleasurable experience for customers from the moment they arrived, that someone entered the store. They also used different tools so that the clients would be dazzled, such as the use of the elements, which would be the interiors of the store, the distribution, the design, the lighting of the dressing rooms, and everything that the client usually uses. And with this, the intention was reflected that is was more to amaze them and then gain their trust to have them in the bag.
Wow, I have no idea that was one of the ways they earned them. Sounds like a great sales strategy, but if it worked as the time went on, or did they have to find another way to win customers?
Yes, it worked. This action gave the customer the impression that it was everything they were looking for in a deal and encouraged them to return to the stores, as well as impressing them with the customer service that Nordstrom provided, and how this continued even after the shopping trip with the clients and the employees were also a big part of this as they continued the relationship with the customer as well as sending personal thank you notes and greetings for birthdays and anniversaries, as well as keeping in touch with the customers to inform them that of new stock arrivals and discount sales.
Wow, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I think that the way Nordstrom is managing itself makes customers feel that comfort, that makes them feel safe with the company, and ensures that they can return at any time. And as we mentioned before, they do focus a lot on serving the customer, but the result we see here shows us that they are doing it correctly and that in the future their profits will be better. We can also see that the company used this as an investment and that there are many more options within a company where it is better to invest in things like this to obtain a higher income.
But what if by spending a large part of your income in customer service, you are forgetting other important expenses such as taking care of inventories?
I honestly doubt that there's any problem with this. Nordstrom is a big company that knows how to execute these things exactly without any problem. Definitely, the management of employees would not be affected.
I agree with Fatima here. A company of this level knows how to manage each aspect without losing sight of it.
The fact that the company took care of the welfare of its customers shows that the company creates employees who could one day have their own business and take care of it an extraordinary way. Because from their training they are taught the basic ways in which they should work with the client, and they are also taught to be free to make decisions for themselves in order to create a happy client. No need to question your supervisors about it.
You're right about that. Nordstrom's workers are definitely extraordinarily trained. They know every aspect of their jobs and have made the company run well. Well, I think that with this we can conclude that the way Nordstrom's work has made a clear example of what a company that knows how to make the expectation of its customers. This is all for today. I hope you can hear us in our next chapter where we will discuss more companies and how they work. Until next time.